Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Jess. So Bitcoin has seen a massive crash in the last 24 hours. We had a structural breakdown on the short time frame and another rejection from $108,000. On the daily chart, Bitcoin has now created a third lower high and begs the question, are we headed for another lower low as well? We'll be talking about exactly that in today's video, breaking down all the recent price action, how low this crash could go, where it starts to get macro bearish, and otherwise signs that you need to be watching out for a potential reversal. Let's get into it. As always, before we jump into the analysis, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and sign up to my free Telegram for more regular Bitcoin updates. If you're a trader and you're interested in joining my VIP trading channel, be sure to message me down below on Telegram. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. Alrighty guys, so jumping into the charts, let's talk about the recent crash. How far has Bitcoin gone and the recent price action before we jump into our analysis? So we'll be talking about how much lower Bitcoin can potentially go, where it starts to get macro bearish or when red flags start to pop up in the higher time frame charts, and otherwise signs that we need to be looking out for a potential reversal. So here on the daily chart, we can see the crash right away in these last two candles, right? Bitcoin retested $108,000 here for the second time, and being unable to push past that level of resistance, we saw almost a double rejection and the subsequent crash down to currently $105,000. So far this has been about a 3% move, and we can see RSI is pretty much headed back to being negative. We weren't able to clear that prior high there despite the structural breakout, and so we've had a failed breakout here in terms of turning momentum bullish on the daily chart, and things are starting to look a little bit grim for Bitcoin, particularly on the short time frame. Heading over to really quickly take a look at liquidations, we can see it's been pretty brutal over the last couple of days. So even in the last 24 hours, we've had $200 million in longs liquidated, which doesn't seem very much in comparison to, these much larger green bars, which have 300, 400, 500 million, some even 800 million. But in comparison to the amount of volume that we've had in the market in the last couple of days, which has been almost sub 100 million for every single day for the last 3 to 4 days, that is a really hefty amount of liquidations. Almost all long positions taken in the last couple of days have essentially been liquidated by this move downwards. So let's go into the smaller time frame charts now and talk about how much lower can Bitcoin go. So heading over to the 4-hour chart, we can pretty much see exactly what triggered the breakdown here for Bitcoin. We had a really bullish not last 2 days, but 2-day period over here heading into the most recent weekly candle close. But then pretty much as soon as that candle close happened and we started to chop or consolidate between that newly established level of support here at $106,000 and that 108K resistance, we started to travel or create this quite bearish ascending channel pattern over here, right? We had consistent higher highs on the price action and higher lows. However, all of that was in contrast with, sort of weakening momentum here on the daily chart as we were moving up against resistance, right? And it's quite a bearish structure overall, those sort of ascending channels. And just yesterday, we had the breakdown. So pushing below that base of support at $106,000, this red box, as well as dynamic support at the 50 EMA, Bitcoin has gone down to break down from this short time frame structure and correct down to retest the 200 EMA over here and our current most crucial level of short time frame support, ranging from $104.8 to $105,000. So in terms of going lower, this is the level that we are looking at, right? This is what's going to trigger either a correction further for Bitcoin or a potential reversal here as we retest a level of support. And support is support until it's not, right? Even though we're retesting it and it's not looking that strong right now, the hourly candle close is printing a bearish doji wick or a doji candle. There is still a potential for support to act as support. So let's talk about this level that Bitcoin is retesting right now. So we can see it essentially mapping out from this red candlestick that we had printed over here on the 24th of June. And it starts at 104.8 thousand to 105.3K with sell side liquidity down here at this black line or the end of these wicks at $104.5 thousand. So in order for Bitcoin to trigger a continued bearish move, what we'd see is a push into this level of support, so 105.3, which would also mean the loss of the 200 EMA on the hourly chart, taking Bitcoin very likely to then travel within this short time frame range, right down to retest that liquidity, sell side liquidity at $104.5 thousand. And then below that is when we trigger a further bearish continuation. So falling below and closing below 104.5K here on the hourly or the 4-hour chart, Bitcoin should then move on to retest the 50 EMA here on the daily chart, the next available level of higher timeframe dynamic support at $104,000. Before we get into any more analysis, guys, let's take a quick moment to talk about one of the most important aspects of being a successful trader, managing your trading fees. If you're interested in supporting me and the channel, BTC is currently offering 15% off your trading fees if you sign up using my affiliate code. You can find it in the description or in the pinned comments, and it'll give you access to all BTC exclusive campaigns and sign-up bonuses, and I'm offering 10% off my VIP membership if you present me your BTC code. So if you're still searching for a great normal KYC exchange, definitely go take a moment to check BTC out. Now let's get back into the charts. Now, in losing all those levels of support that we just mentioned, so that 104 to 105K zone and the 50 EMA on the daily chart, I've just marked that out using a red dotted trend line here so we can see it across all time frames. Losing both those levels, so closing below the 50 EMA on the daily chart, we have this next level here on the short time frame, ranging from $102 to $102.8 thousand. And we can see exactly why it's a level of support here on the short time frame. In this retest, we have two deviations, which I'll talk about in a moment. This next retest over here, resistance, a breakthrough, and then the next subsequent retest should be a retest of that level as a level of support. Now, if we talk about, or if we start to introduce the topic of macro bearish flags, right, where things start to look much more bearish than this original breakdown implied on the short time frame price action, is the 102 and this level of support down here. So we can see here on the short time frame price action, every single time that Bitcoin has essentially failed to close above $102,000 over here, the base of this support, Bitcoin has gone on to create this low, testing a next available level of support on the daily chart at $100,000. And that is when things start to get really, really crucial. And it all ties in to the 50 EMA as well. So in the past, every single time we've lost the 50 EMA, Bitcoin on the daily chart has gone on to then retest the next available level of horizontal support. So in this segment of price action over here, that meant retesting $91,000. And subsequently losing that level of horizontal support, we went on to create these new lows, consistently rejecting off the 50 EMA each time until we tapped macro bull bear support on the weekly time frame at $74,000. Now over here in this current segment of price action, losing the 50 EMA, the next horizontal level of support that we have on the daily time frame is now at $100,000. That is why these two times here where we deviated below 102K on the short time frame, we saw an immediate correction down to retest this next level of support at $100,000. And that is super, super important because it is sort of one of the first levels that we have that mark out whether or not Bitcoin is currently in a macro bullish or macro bearish positioning. So let's get into why this 100K level is so important. So here on the 3-day chart, and I'm sure you guys who have watched my channel pretty religiously would know exactly what I'm about to talk about, but here on the 3-day chart, this 100K level of support here marked out by this blue box, or the top of this channel that I've drawn in here to mark out this sort of prior daily range, is the Gaussian channel, right? It has currently perfect confluence with that 100K level of support. We can see we tapped it here on that retest of $100,000 last time we broke down from the 50 EMA on the daily chart. And on retesting at that base there on the Gaussian channel, as well as 100K support, we pretty much saw the immediate sort of reversal there for Bitcoin, just sort of emphasizing or providing an example for just how important that level of support historically is. And on the Gaussian channel here on the 3-day chart, we can see that generally every time we lose the Gaussian channel or close below it here on the 3-day time frame, so that's currently 1 day away, closing below it generally triggers a continuation to retest the base of the Gaussian channel. And we have pretty much seen that time and time again. Over here, losing it, we move down to the base, or pretty much to retest the base, once again over here, and so on and so forth. It is a really, really great indicator in terms of macro triggers for, high time frame bearish or bullish continuations. And so that is a level that we really, really want to make sure that we hold in the coming correction, right? If we don't manage to hold the current level of support and we go down to retest $102,000, we need to see a bounce from that level to otherwise continue validating macro bullish price action here for Bitcoin. Even if we just take it down a notch and take a look just at the daily chart and simply looking at the historical reactions to $100,000, we can see that generally when Bitcoin rejects or falls down from that level of support, we have experienced quite aggressive corrections, right? Over here, we had the rejection from 100K, went all the way down to 74. Consistently rejecting from that level has led to quite aggressive corrections. Over here, we went down to retest 91K support. That was the available sort of range at the time. And in this scenario, we more likely would be looking at somewhere around this region over here, right? That 94K and the 200 EMA on the daily chart. Now, obviously, all that analysis was pretty dramatic, right? We talked about essentially how low can Bitcoin go and where it would start to get really, really aggressively bearish. But before any of that happens, we need to still understand right now Bitcoin is at support. And at 104.8 thousand, 105,000, the 50 EMA on the daily chart, as well as 102K on the short time frame, these are all levels of support. And again, like I said at the start, support is support till it's not. So these are all levels before the breakdown of potential reversals, right? Where Bitcoin could actually flip the script on the short time frame and go back upwards. And here on the short time frame as well, even if we just take a look at this segment of price action and the structural breakdown that we've had here, the measured move only takes Bitcoin to about this next current level of support as well. So taking that to the breakdown point, the measured move or the height of the channel only takes Bitcoin down to retest this sell side liquidity right here. So there is a possibility that on retesting this range that we see a bounce and sort of negate all the potential for high time frame bearish implications. And so what we would want to see in reverse is then flipping the charts, being short time frame bullish, a push back above this level of support as well as the 50 EMA, and the next time we retest $108,000, this sort of double rejection point that we've seen here on the short time frame price action, we want to see that momentum has flipped bullish, so higher highs on the RSI as we retest that level of support, and on the daily chart as well, hopefully flipping the momentum bullish properly this time and actually clearing above the last two high highs that we've created on the RSI indicator. Alrighty guys, that is all the analysis that I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. If you enjoyed the video or you learned something, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And sign up to my free Telegram for more regular Bitcoin updates. If you're interested in joining my VIP trading channel, be sure to message me down below on Telegram to get exclusive access to my personal trading setups. And if you want 15% off your trading fees, you can create your account using my affiliate link. Hope you guys have a great week and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!